Shalom and welcome to Mitzvah Torah. This year's in Tanakh, I walked by a motion detector, a sensor on Shabbat, where it's going to turn on a light. I'm going to be videoed. Very, very common question. The more we have these sensors all around, private areas, by public buildings, it's a real question. Not simple at all. It's been dealt with plenty over the last few decades. Shabbat Levi, Rav Vosner, Chelek Tet, 9th volume in his Chuvas, Samech Tet, has a fascinating answer. He says there is a case called Psik Reish that we all know. I'm washing my hands, I'm doing an action of washing my hands over the lawn. Lo and behold, my lawn gets watered. Yes, I'm doing an action of washing my hands, and that leads to the inevitable result of watering my lawn. That's a Psik Reish, it's an inevitable result. And if it's my lawn, it's nichle, I'm happy to have my lawn watered. He says, that's one thing. He says, I'm walking. There's no specific action of washing or something that I'm engaged in with an inevitable result. I'm just doing an act of walking. I'm walking in the street. And then this sensor picks me up and puts a light on and records me. What does that have to do with me? It's not a psik reish. It's not an action that leads to that. That's what he wants to say, so he's very lenient. And the Rosh Hashanah quotes poskim who go that way as well. Similar idea. Rav Willig, why you not so convinced? Not so convinced. There's an action here too. I'm walking, and you talk about putting on a light. Putting on a light. It's a doraita. Causing a doraita, putting on a light, and then it could be it's a dark area. I benefit from the light. It was dark, now it's illuminated. So Rav Willig is not so comfortable with this, and he says we're not out of the range of psik reisha. Rosh Hashanah is a bit more lenient than the shirim on yu.org of Shechter of Willig. Viviat in Hilchot Shabbat, in his masterpiece, 4 volumes on Shabbat. That's a fascinating idea. He leans towards a more stringent opinion. He's not really relying on Shabbat Levi so quickly. And he says that we have a problem here. If you want to say the light, the area is lit already, it's illuminated, and it's not really doing anything with the light, because then it's a psik reish, it's inevitable, meaning my action of walking is a cause of that, but it's a cause of psik reisha, an inevitable result. Lo nichle, it doesn't matter to me. It's already lit area. I could walk just fine. It's not helping me. So there's a little bit more room to be lenient on a psik reisha, an inevitable result. It doesn't do anything to me. Maybe there's room to rely on that. Tosfos relies on it at times. So there's what to say there. But I'm walking in a dark area and it lights up. What's there to say? He says, really have to avoid that area. According to Rav Vivian, Hilchot Shabbat. You should avoid it. You're stuck and you have to come home, and you didn't realize when you went and there's no other way home. You have to either stay in shul or Shabbat and not come to your family. That's a pretty crazy situation. Shat. He says, maybe what you should do is close your eyes, so that as you go through that area, you turn it on, you're not benefiting. At least not at the initial moment. At the moment that you put it on, it wasn't a psik reish to nichle, because I didn't benefit from it. It's a fascinating, creative idea, but awkward, but creative. He admits it's an awkward thing, but it might be your only solution. So you really have a range. You have a range of opinions over here. Therefore, a person could go out on Shabbat. He knows this way there's a sensor, and the light's going to go on, and this way not. Of course, he should just avoid the shayla. You have poskim like Rav Willig and others saying that there's a problem. You want to avoid that. Unless someone has a specific posting, he's a Talmud of Shabbat Levi, so he follows him straight through. But otherwise, it's a real shayla here, and best to avoid it. That path totally. And then you have even there's no way you have to go on that path. So even then, there's ways that you probably could avoid the senses. So see if you can, and if you can't, then you rely on the Shabbat Levi that you are Maisa. It's not a Maisa. It's not your deed connecting you to it. The advice, and then if it's a lit area, you have the another advantage that's already lit anyway, so I'm not benefiting from it. And if it's an area that you're going to benefit from, you have Riviat's creative idea to close your eyes as you enter that area the light goes on, so it's not a psik reish at that moment where you are benefiting from that light at the moment that you put it on. It's a fascinating approach as well. And much of this applies to this video as well. So ideally, best to avoid these kind of things if you can, but certain times it's not, then you end up relying on those lenient opinions. Of course, Rosh Parishioners to talk to his post section. He lives in the old city. It's nonstop. There's thousands of these video cameras all over the place. Baruch Hashem. And then you get into the whole topic, right? It's important that they video all the people. So maybe that is nichle, it is beneficial. Persons talk to their Rav about such a case. Shalom.